Hey everybody, Tom Barton, Stories from the 70s, coming to you from the festive downtown Chicago, right here at Wacker in the South. You have Prime Vision's been here since 2015. Chef Joe has been here since the start. This place is outstanding. If you're a big buff of Chicago history and the World's Fair, you're gonna like it, because when they were designing this restaurant, 1893 World's Fair, Devil in the White City, it's a little inspiration for the inside. I'll talk about the food menu, how this is a great spot to enjoy for the holiday season. Now for this story from a 78. So let's eat. All right, so they just opened, and I got Chef Joe here before he gets busy with the dinner rush. How are you, sir?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. And so Private Provisions, it's been here since 2015. You've been a part of it for almost, what, 8 years?
Almost 8 years. We've been here for almost 8 years.
Yeah, and what separates this steakhouse from others in Chicago? Because, you know, there's lots, and there's a lot of good food in Chicago. What makes you guys, though, your specific brand?
So the biggest thing with Prime that separates us from everybody else in the city is we've always strived to do a program that was considered a never-ever program. All of our beef is locally sourced. Our farm is in Crown Point, Indiana, and they strive to do the best beef in the country. It's never been exposed to antibiotics, hormones, anything like that. All co-op farmers that all agree to the same standards and work up to the same thing. So that's one of the biggest things that separate us from everybody else. We're not using commodity beef. We're using Lynn's Heritage Angus, which again follows the Never Ever program.
Sure.
Unlike anybody else in the city.
And you have this wonderful spot here, kind of across from the Merchandise Mart, right on Wacker Drive. You got the river, and I know it's like a prime spot for people to come all year long, where you got the outside space, but even like in the winter with the lights, and then even like New Year's with the fireworks going down the river.
Yeah, it's a pretty prime location. We got nice views from even on the first floor upstairs and the second floor in our private dining room. You get a little bit of better view because you're higher up. We definitely get to see all the parades that go by because they go down Wacker. We get to see all the Christmas lights. Merchandise Mart has the shows every weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Light up the Mart, and then especially New Year's Eve. It's a pretty big show that happens right here on the South.
Yeah, and then you have the Riverwalk too. It's just a lot of fun in this area. But the space itself, what do people in for when they walk in here? What's the type of vibe that you guys have?
The biggest thing that we were going for, David Rexon, one of the owners, was reading Devil in the White City when they were planning out the whole design and decor. So fun. It's supposed to be like 1920s-ish Prohibition era train car, like really high end. There's a Ferris wheel over at the front of the entrance that we use for all of our holiday brunches. The Ferris wheel is huge in the book.
Yes, absolutely. For the first time it ever was seen in the world,
absolutely,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we use it for our dessert display. But the biggest thing is just if you go in the dining room, you'll notice that the tops of the ceiling are curved in, and they kind of give you like a train car vibe.
Yeah, like a little Pullman vibe.
Absolutely. That was one of the biggest things that we were going for.
Yeah, well done with it. Like, that's the first thing I thought of when I walked in here. I was like, oh, that looks like a Pullman car, similar to like the Canopy Hotel, because they very much have some of their rooms designed after the Pullman cars.
Absolutely.
As well. And as far as the food, like, what are some of your signature dishes that when people come here, if they're coming from out of town or Schaumburg or Ravenswood, what do they got to try when they come in here?
For me, I mean, I might be a little biased, but
I think it's your place.
I definitely think that the Kansas City Strip is probably the best steak that in the city. Okay. It's my favorite on the menu. It comes out on a 600-degree sizzling plate, bone-in, pre-sliced for you, with a big bulb of colossal garlic that we slow roast, so it turns into like this nice puree that you can spread on your steak. And then, depending on how many people are at the table going to share, if there's two of you, if somebody likes it like medium rare and somebody else at the table likes it a little more cooked, you can leave it on the plate because the plate's so hot, and you can sear it actually on the plate with all the grass-fed butter that we finish the steaks with.
Fantastic.
It's really a phenomenal dish.
Yeah.
And with the dry age, because the plate's so hot, you get all that awesome aroma, all that dry aged funk that you get. It's a little earthy and mushroomy and blue cheesy. It's really amazing.
Fantastic. And do you have other things, like maybe as far as like appetizers beforehand or shareables that you want to have with maybe that big steak that you're talking about?
Definitely. One of our biggest sellers is the bacon. It's thick cut bacon, Duroc pork that we braise for like 4.5 hours, so it gets really soft, and then we crust it with black peppercorns, charred under the broiler, and then it's served with dark chocolate smear and a little chili maple syrup that we infuse with gochujang. It's amazing. We light it on fire, give you a little show at the table. That's definitely one of the #1 sellers, probably one of the best starters that you could have.
I think you might be my new best friend because you recommended after the steak bacon.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. It's very Chicago of you. I love it. And the vibe in the place that matches this food, it's just a wonderful atmosphere. Is this something that people should book out ahead of time if they want to have something close to the holidays or right after the holidays? How does that work? What's the best approach for that?
Typically, our reservations are open 60 days out around the holidays. Normally, outside of like the holidays, we're typically 30 days booked out. So definitely reservations are recommended. Open table is the best way to go because you can set an alert to let you know when something opens up if there's like a last minute reservation that pops open for you. But definitely 30 days out if it's not around the holidays. Around the holidays, we give everybody about 60 days because it gets a little hectic.
Yeah, I bet.
Everybody forgets, to make a reservation last minute.
And you also have a great happy hour where the bar behind you is kind of the spot to be for a happy hour during the week, right?
Yes, Monday through Friday from 3 o'clock on. We're usually too deep at the bar. We're probably one of the only steakhouses in the city that's doing dollar oysters. So dollar oysters are one of our biggest sellers. We probably go through about anywhere from 800 to 1,000 oysters between 3 and 7 p.m. Got some great cocktails. We have one of the best old fashions in the city. Our secret is, it's really not a secret, but is we finish them with a little bit of walnut liqueur. So it gives it a little extra oomph.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, Chef, I can't wait to try it. I know that it's a busy night. It's Saturday. It's like the week before Christmas. I know you're busy, so I'll let you get back to your dinner preps. But pleasure talking with you.
Absolutely. A pleasure talking to you, too.
Thank you. All right, that is Prime Inn Provisions right here along Wacker Drive in downtown Chicago. TomBarneyChicago@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion of a story of the 78, head over to the website too, storiesfromthe78.com. This place is awesome. If you are a big buff with the Chicago history and the World's Fair, this is the spot to be. So you got to come check it out.